Yo, what's up with y'all? Zay the Chosen One. It's been a minute, since I recorded and put a video on my channel. That don't mean I ain't been thinking about y'all. I have been thinking about y'all. I know my hood on all like this, it's a little cold outside, you feel me? But we still here. So, yeah, how you been? How you been? I hope you've been taking care of yourself, focusing on yourself. You gotta realize, we stuck in the matrix. How we gonna escape it, Uh, you know, this video gonna be about, I think it's kind of crazy. I'm just jumping into a video after it's been definitely over a year. It's probably been 2 by now, but it's been mad long since a video, and I'm just do an intro and just go right back into a video like nothing happened. But I guess here we are, right? I might make a video on what happened, or why I haven't made a video. It wasn't nothing crazy, but I might make a video on it. So pretty much, yeah, this video is gonna be about. This video is gonna be about just sitting still, and sometimes you just gotta sit still, and let things pass. And when I say sit still, you could do that. A lot of things could call for you to sit still. You know what I mean? Let's say I don't know. Let's say you at school and then it's finals week or something, and then you just been you just been stressing damn, I gotta get these assignments in. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I got all these responsibilities. So in a feeling of when you get the feeling of overwhelmed, when you become overwhelmed, that is the perfect time to just sit still. Because a lot of times, as people, what we tend to do, me included, obviously, but a lot of times what we tend to do is we tend to think about everything we have to do instead of just taking one small step. So we might think of everything before we think of the first thing we could do to get one thing done, and then going to that next thing we have to do. This is why a lot of times people say, oh, when you have a goal, yeah, you want to set a long-term goal, but you want to set short-term goals as well, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and dang, I can't get this done, right? Because a lot of people think they can get their long-term goals done in a week. That's not how that works. So I think if you just sit still, I personally think that it helps if you just sit still. It helps you realize that, first off, it'll help you realize how much time you're spending sitting still, right? You'll realize that, let's say you just sit still for 10 minutes, right? Those 10 minutes went by, right? And you still have mad time left in the day, right? Those 10 minutes will not make or break your entire day, right? Just like we tend to procrastinate a lot as people. But even when you do obviously procrastination is bad. The longer you procrastinate, the more time builds up. But a lot of times we procrastinate and still get stuff done, right? So let's say we procrastinated for about, I don't know, you procrastinated for an hour on this assignment or whatever it is. Yeah, you wasted an hour, but you still have mad time left in the day. Everybody has that time when they're procrastinating, and it's dang, it's been about an hour, 30 minutes. I ain't do nothing. Yeah, it has been an hour, 30 minutes, and you haven't done anything, but the day is still nowhere near over, right? So I think sitting still lets you realize how much time you actually have. A lot of this is it's more so, I think, with people with entrepreneur mindsets, where a famous thing is, or a popular thing said is that we're all under the influence that we have enough time, when really we don't. When in reality, we have more than enough time. It's just how we use it, right? A lot of people go all right, well, you sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. You spend an hour or two getting ready, making meals and stuff. You'll spend another 30 minutes, right, getting dressed, You'll spend however amount of time getting to wherever you gotta go. So like you'll spend a good amount of time at work, so to the point where you'll only have a couple of hours in a day where you can like really sit down and focus on yourself, which I don't disagree with. I think that's true. But at the same time, I think when you think like that, when you think in the terms of, oh, I don't have enough time, what you do is you break your body down. You let your body succumb to anxiety, to self-inflicted pressure, right? And that's not how you succeed, right? That's gonna wear you down even quicker, right? And I'm not saying don't push yourself. You should push yourself. Like you're not gonna know when your body feels that way until until you push your body until that point. So eventually, and with something that you do, you're going to have to push your body. So I'm not telling you to sit here and be lazy and to just be okay, right? I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to set aside some time to just sit down. And when you sit down, a lot of times, when I sit down, right, and just do nothing, I'll just start getting thoughts in my head like, oh, I need to do this. Why don't I start? I could start being productive. I could use this time to be productive. I could do something. I could do something. Do something. Do something. Do something. Right? And I think that's the problem, that we try to make ourselves robots. To the point where like we try to put ourselves on a clock and tell ourselves, no, this needs to be done by then. When we do not decide the time that it takes to do something. We don't have the power to decide that. You could decide when to do something. You can decide how quickly you want to do something. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, I could say I want to get this done in an hour and get it done in an hour. I can do that, but like we don't decide for time, bro. Time is not something that humans understand. We do not work on we work on a 24-hour day, but that's not what time is. Time is something that doesn't stop or end. And that's why we have so much contemplation on what or who God is and if he's real or whatever, because it's all because we don't understand time, but we try so hard to wrap our minds around it, right? Time is not something that just stops and starts. You don't just like, you're right. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to like figure out a way to really like, break it down, but time, like the way that we understand time is that, okay, time had to start, time had to end. But it just doesn't make sense because, there had to be a time before the first second, the first millisecond or whatever. Like, there had to be a time before that, which means time has to be like infinite. And we don't understand infinite. That's why certain like things like, law of abundance, thinking that you have, when you have the mindset that you have things in abundance, your life becomes easy because you really do have things in abundance. Think about it. Humans, right? We're put on this world, and on this world we already have all these minerals, all of these plants, we have so many things that we can just live off already, and we mix those things to make even more things, and that's how life works. That's how we evolve, right? And yeah, that's really all it is, evolution through time. And like I said, time is infinite. Time itself is infinite. The time that we have to live is finite, which is why there's a confliction in our understanding of time and what time really is. Do you get what I mean? So my thing is, if we start operating on time as though, I understand we should not take life for granted, understand that. But if you start operating on a time that, okay, I do have the time to do this and to still be able to do you know what I mean? If I'm like, all right, I have to do this, I have to do 3 things today. I can either sit there and be like, dang, I don't want to do those 3 things. Or I can sit there and be like, you know what, let me do something else I want to do instead of the 3 things I have to do, right? That's that's not giving yourself the time. That's putting yourself in your head like, oh, I don't want to do these 3 things. I'm gonna just do this. That's like putting it in your head that you wouldn't have the time after you do those 3 things to do what you want to do. Do you get what I mean? If you just do what you need to do, there will always be time afterwards to do something, right? And I think that's the mindset that you grasp. I think that's the mindset that you start to understand when you give yourself that time to just sit and do nothing. Let all your thoughts telling you what to do. Let it die down. And then eventually you'll realize what's actually important to you. And then by that time, you should eventually realize what you should and shouldn't do, or not what you should and shouldn't do, but what you can do in this present time. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, so that's all this video is about. Just giving yourself the time to think, giving yourself the time to decompress, giving yourself the time to just exist. We are not robots. We don't just turn off during sleep and turn on. Your body, your mind, your spirit is awake when you sleep, bro. You might be unconscious, but you are conscious during sleep. You might not remember your dreams, but you are conscious every night. You are conscious every time you decide to close your eyes and go to sleep. So with that being said, just give yourself the time. And your body, your mind, your spirit, they will thank you. They will figure it out. They will figure out whatever it is you're trying to figure out. A lot of times we try to put it on ourselves, but the flesh that we have is not meant for this, bro. We're meant to look inside for guidance. And then our inside, what we have on the inside, can't physically do anything. So once what we physically have inside tells us the right way to go, the proper path to follow, once we get told that, that's when it's our job, like ourselves in flesh. That's when it's our job to go out and do that, But it's not without that connection to your mind and spirit. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, just give yourself the time. You'll appreciate it. That's all I really have to say. I hope you're doing well, taking care of yourself. Hope you meditated. And if not, I hope this video helped you in some way. I hope this video helped you in some way. So yeah, have a good day, night, have a good year, month, week, whatever. That's it. Zeta Chosen One, signing out.